right, guys, what is up? See, right now, generally, I would ask Gage how he's doing or whatever, how his life, and he will respond with some mundane response about weather. But right
True.
now, I don't care because we are doing our first special, and it is fantastic, and it's about a
Hmm.
topic that we both love. So, this is about Clash of Clans and one of their campaigns for 2017, I believe. It was
2018,
2017,
yeah.
2018. So for 2018. So for context, both Gage and I played Clash of Clans for 4 years, and we played Clash Royale for another 4 years. So in total, that's 8 years of our lives, and we're 23. So like that's how much like this fandom universe has been like around us, near us, part of us, and we like it a lot. So when we found this, we're like we have
Uh-huh.
to do it. So and it's also incredibly well done. So for some context, for some background, mobile gaming is like one of the most competitive categories out there. 500 new apps are introduced to the App Store every single day. And generally speaking, 3 months, like a really popular money earning, revenue gaining game, is considered to be successful if it does that for 3 months. Clash of Clans is now on its sixth year. And granted, it's losing a little bit of relevancy, but like you still see 6 years of popularity compared to 3 months. I think Gage said it's like something like 24 times like what the actual like
Yes.
success rate or like time span is. So, and on top of that, like as you can imagine, like there's a very strong fandom. Like there are groups, communities, forums. There's national tournaments, international tournaments, all about this kind of stuff. So people are very excited. Like it matters a lot. People get jacked about this kind of stuff. Like even more than I am right now. You may think I'm really jacked about this stupid video game. But yeah, so they had these challenges for the campaign. I'll let Gage
Yeah,
outline
so they
those.
had two major challenges, right? So historically, what Clash of Clans will do when they want to reinvigorate their audience is they will launch a new update, oftentimes like a new town hall. There's like 12 major town halls. I'm not gonna get into it, but like it's a major thing, brings lots of cool new content into it, and they'll usually release a video explaining. I believe the writers for The Simpsons write the content. They'll usually do that. They want to avoid that this time because you can only have so many updates. There are some internal workings about how long it takes people to progress through these, and money and things. So they're like, we want to avoid that, right? And then they also, well, the thing that to think about is these fans are as passionate as some people are about Game of Thrones, as about Mad Men, as about Anime. Like a lot of these people, Clash of Clans has been around for 6 years. Some have been around for 6 years, but most have been around for 1, 2, 3, 4 years. They're heavily invested in this game, and they have really high expectations moving forward and what to expect, especially as they some have done hundreds or thousands of dollars in this game as well. So they were, yeah,
Way too much. For the record, we never spent that much money. I spent a
yeah.
little bit, but like
I spent
not
like
even a
40,
hundred,
60
not even close to
bucks.
that.
And it's just entertainment, right? But so these are the two big challenges they had. So they did some research and they found some cool insights that Grant will dive into now.
Yeah, so to talk about the insights, again, this is kind of a cool insight, but nothing like ground shaking. So what they found is that players care more about character than code. So they did some really cool global focus groups, and they find out that that players are way more into the actual characters than like smashing things or the code that's written on. And I can give you a really cool quote that came out of it. Quote, this makes me see the witch as some kind of babysitter because there's always that one skeleton that never goes where you want it to, and his name is Larry. So I thought that was hilarious. Just for context, a witch is a character in the game that creates little skeletons. Anyway, but like they've given certain characters depth and backstory. Like they gave the Hog Rider a crazy personality with a crazy voice, which I'm not gonna even imitate, and like barbarians are seeing these like these dumb muscle heads, and giants are just like these big loofing oafs. Like there's genuine like storytelling and character development, better than some shows, I might argue. So yeah, and then the other kind of insight they found is that I'll quote it in a world that revolved around destruction, there was a game within the game. So, and this is another part of the fandom is that players would like make cool bases or designs or spell out things with different parts of the game like walls, and like they would be as proud of that as they would be like attacking someone, and they would show them off in the cool designs. There's a strategy within inside the strategy, so that only strengthened the fandom. And so they got into this, and they found that one specific person, one character, wasn't being talked about or even thought about. And I think Gage has a really
Yeah,
good story behind
so
him.
this is a game where you start out with very little, and as you grow, like your base grows, you build certain things. You have like gold storage and elixir storage, and you'll build defenses to defend these, and you go out and raid other people's bases to get more of this, so you can build more. It's a very classic like setup for a game. As Grant said, they did a really good job of giving a lot of characters. Yeah, so as Grant mentioned, they gave a lot of the characters' personality. For example, the giants and archers have like a very certain relationship. They're very kind and friends because giants oftentimes protect the archers and things of this nature. But there was one character that they didn't give much attention to, right? And that was the builder. The builder is kind of like awkward, slow guy that people all times put a lot of their frustration on him, because to upgrade a gold storage to max can take up to like 2 weeks, right? So people will buy extra builders to go faster, and if you have enough loot, you can have all 4 builders going for 2 weeks. People are willing to wait this long to increase their standing in the game. Well, they kind of found this, right? Like, they found that the builder is underappreciated, and then they really played on it. So they made an announcement through one of their great animations. I would highly recommend checking out videos on the Clash of Clans official YouTube page. They are very well done. They announced he was leaving, right? And he was leaving because he wasn't being appreciated, and he was leaving to the real world to go build things in the real world. And this had 2 implications. One, that things like that he would leave for the real world to build things, and 2, there was no one left to build anything in Clash of Clans now.
It's a big deal.
But which is a big deal in context of this. So witches and giants and goblins and barbarians and wizards would have to build the buildings in Clash of Clans now. And they did hilarious animations about them failing because they weren't builders, they were warriors, right? And that was really, really interesting, really good. And they leveraged this builder in a lot of really creative ways. And Grant's going to go over those deliverables and what happened and how they did that.
Yeah. But before I talk about any of them, I actually want to show that first YouTube video that got everything kicked off. So I'm going to play it.
Yes.
I'm play it right now. Here we go.
Built a tower made of wood, just to help them if you could. You built a barracks made of stone, trying to make this house a home. You built a dream made out of clay, that was all from yesterday. You build it up, they tear it down. Maybe it's time to leave this cuckoo town. So go on your way. Go on your way. Bye-bye, builder. Fly like an eagle.
So yeah, that was the video, and there's so that was the builder leaving. There's also one of the builder coming back, which I think is funnier. They did a really good job in that video of like being funny and keeping like the silly integrity of Clash of Clans, but also they really made you feel for them, like that sad kind of funny music. It was really good. Like when I first watched it, it was like this emotion of like I'm laughing because that was funny, but also I feel so bad for this guy. He's trying so hard, and they really played that whole like underappreciated characteristic up, as so many people are, which is another part of the research, is that people can relate to feeling underappreciated. So like they felt for this builder, and like they did a ton of crazy and cool actual like, tactics activations. So all across the world, they built just giant statues of characters. Like there's a 14-foot P.E.K.K.A. built in Brooklyn. On some like sand or ocean, they built like a 20-foot tall like giant, like the character of the giant, just like hanging out. and they did just a ton of cool things. They had some AR like fillers on Snapchat, maybe I think it was, or like on some platform where like the builder would like build things around you. They actually also had, this is one of my more favorite. They had a legitimate job posting on the Supercell website for an actual builder replacement that like you could apply for. It was just so wonderfully well done. It was so interactive. And then, like I said, they also had a video of like the builder coming home, woo, builder is also just equally hilarious. Like there's so many more deliverables. All right, give me 1 second. I don't know this a lot. Let me actually look about there's a video series also done. What are some other
There's
cool
a job
ones?
posting on LinkedIn.
There's a job posting on LinkedIn. They also made a giant barbarian around the world, and these are places all around the world, from the U.S. to China,
LA, Paris, China.
yeah, like they went all the way out there.
Yeah, so all of these really, really awesome deliverables that Grant just mentioned drew some even more impressive results, right? So, for example, they got a 187 million organic YouTube views, right? That has no marketing, no advertising, no nothing. People just watched it 187 million times. There's a 23% uptick in joy, so to speak, which is something that they measured through surveys. Their Instagram grew tremendously. 600,000 followers were added. That's 15%. They had 6 million likes. And nearly 30,000 called the builder's hotline or friended him on LinkedIn. 40 media promotions garnered 72 million impressions, right? Like, this is insane. This is incredible, especially when there weren't a lot of physical like TV ads, right? So a lot of this is people going to seek this out. The statues and the buildings they created drew over 500,000 people to take pictures and to just like interact with this brand, essentially, in a very experiential way. This was incredibly well done. Yeah, they killed it. Absolutely great, and it really reinvigorated their fan base once more. And the challenge is they have to do this over and over and over. Otherwise, there is someone else that will take their players from them.
Yeah, I mean, this also speaks to like just how big and like important the fandom is to Clash of Clans. Like, it is pretty, I don't want to say ferocious because that's a pretty negative connotation, but it's pretty strong. Like, people genuinely
Passionate.
care. Yeah, and like one of the reasons why is so like in this game, you can join clans and you can converse, and there's also communities within these clans, people talking, there's friendships. Like, it's they leveraged all the good parts, and the storytelling was wonderful, and just overall, I know we're about to start doing our rating, and I'm gonna just go and give my rate. I give this 9.56. Like, Grant, I am really biased because again I've been within this kind of culture of Clash of Clans, Clash Royale for 8 years, but I loved it.
Yeah, it was incredibly well done on all sides. It was a really good insight. The only problem I have is it's one of those things like, where do you go up from here? So this campaign is really good. Great results, and they had a lot of fun with it, right? Everyone enjoyed it. But it's also not even close to what Leo Burnett did. I have to give like an 8.9. This is kind of the reason why you see a lot of my ratings are lower than Grant's. He has his own rating system. That's cool, but like, that's the comparison. So 8.9, had a lot of fun. Didn't quite breach the 9 threshold though.
To answer your question on where they can go like throughout is that like there are a ton of characters that all have stories. Like, there's only a couple characters that like you even know or hear speak or have like legitimate stories. Like, there's still like mysteries around some characters, so they could keep telling stories of different characters in really interesting ways. Granted, like that would eventually lose its appeal, but like this thing has legs for a couple more.
Yeah,
more
it has
iterations.
legs. Well, that and they keep adding characters as well. Adding characters. I mean, adding buildings, adding levels. This is really well done. It gives them a platform that they can launch off of for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for listening to our special. We hope you enjoyed as much as we did. And if you used to play Clash Royale or Clash of Clans, you might just get on and give it a look and see how your base is doing now.